Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Single Player Let's Play series. So, today I think I have some good plans. We have been working on building out this entire infrastructure for refined storage, and we've got everything interconnected and hooked up and ready to go. And get rid of this guy real quick. So, refined storage is now accessible in all of our major buildings, which I think is very important. You can see over here, I really struggled with getting this one wired up, but it's wired. So that all comes from this little section down here, so you can see that there's a little wire spitting up through here. I think that works out pretty okay. Stays out of the way of the rest of the spaghetti we have set up. I did not run a refined storage line over here yet, just because I don't really think we need it. I cannot think of many practical uses for it over there. But yeah, with everything set up the way that it is, I think it's pretty easily distributed. I didn't set one up over here yet either. I need to still do that. There's no reason not to. But let's see, can any of these guys be bred again? Nope, not yet. Soon though. But yeah, so today I thought it would be really cool if we started working on a better, more properly fleshed out basement space for us to do a lot of this work and a lot of the futures of automation and auto crafting. So yeah, what I'm thinking is the following: we're gonna have our machines distributed all through our network, right? So we're going to have some over there, we're going to have some in here, we're going to have some possibly underground in here. But what I was thinking is auto crafting for machines can happen in their buildings respectively, but auto crafting using recipes has to happen somewhere. And so I had one of two options, and I think I'm going to go with the easier one for now, but throughout the series I may change my mind. Option number one was to build something here, like in the middle of the river, underneath the water, maybe, like do some sort of underwater research slash data. This is going to be a really bad joke because this isn't even a lake, but basically a data lake. So like a collection of all of our items and all of our digital storage and all of our crafters. We could put all in the middle there. But I think for now, just for the sake of the simplicity and the fact that I do still, several episodes in, still like this little home. It's nice and quaint and comfy. I think what we'll end up doing is just reusing this one. And just going down here into the basement and expanding this out a little bit so that we have more space. And maybe have it branch back a little bit as well. That way it actually feels like it has some purpose. And then we can put a proper staircase down and do all that stuff as well. So I thought I would start kind of, planning that out, kind of getting an idea for it. So we are going to do... Oh yeah, those are ruined. Okay, that makes sense. You have to be careful with the ruined gloomy tiles, and we're not going to be able to use them anyway because I don't have enough. But the ruined gloomy tiles, whenever you step on them, will summon a evoker spike. What are they called? Evoker fangs. So I scared the ever-loving crap out of myself building out this room because I stepped on one of these. But I love just the unamused face. This face right here. I just love it. You can't be upset with a rune that just looks absolutely unhappy to be there. I'm gonna put these here like so for now. But yeah, my entire plan is to take all of this stuff and just kind of expand it downwards, outwards. Give ourselves more space to do auto crafting and automatic machinery stuff with. So I'm thinking probably down to this level here. So yeah, normally I don't do these, but I do think it might be time for a building montage of sorts, just a building speed run, whatever you want to call it, just because I do want to get this done, but I also think that this might be a little bit interesting to go through because there are a couple of interesting designs that we can come up with. Maybe I'll just do a rectangle. I'm going to try not to, though, because I don't... One of my challenges as a Minecrafter is I'm not super great at building, but sometimes I have okay-ish ideas, and I'll run with them for a world or an area or whatever. And one of the things that I've been forcing myself to do as a player is I've been forcing myself to build in positive space. In other words, not digging out underground areas like this. But here I am, so I feel like I've got to sort of, make up for that a little bit, somewhat. So anyways, let me get that done. Let me get that all built out, and we'll be back in a bit. Alright, so I'm midway through this build, and I'm running into a couple of issues, mostly just with reachability. Obviously, right now, I'm also trying to keep my entire original network intact, which will eventually become an issue, but I think for now, we're still good. Here's the thought I have, and the design that I kind of had in mind. There are mega crafters in this pack that we will want to use, I'm sure. And so this area right here from probably, let's see, it's a 5x5. So it'd be, this area here will probably be mostly that. I may, since we have so much vertical space, it may be lifted up. It may be like this may be like an underneath access, and we may level it off around the top. Haven't really decided that much yet. That's a little bit more into the details than I'm ready to really think into. But you can see that there's a lot of height here, and it's getting to be very annoying to build. So I'm going to delve into another mod today, a new mod that we haven't touched yet. And I know it's one of pretty much everyone's favorites, but I've been, again, part of the building challenges, part of the things that I've been trying not to do was to avoid making anything that made building too, like, easily... What's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to avoid tools that make it very easy for me to make a monochromatic or a very flat surface. You can also see I'm running low. I'm out of ender pearls and I'm almost out of end twine, so we may have to run to the end and get some more here soon. And also my mega torch was broken while I was digging under here, so let's probably put that over here next to my bed. Would make the most sense to me. Put that right there. Cover it, because we won't be able to see the basement anyway, or the basement floor, slash the upstairs floor, because what we're going to do is have a solid layer of sheet metal slabs along the top of the roof here. So, my thoughts were to get into building gadgets, at least a little bit, because we haven't done that yet, and I think that will also knock out a quest chapter, yeah? That should get the pallets of plenty. Yeah, so let's do that. I'm going to make the plain gadget. So if we look at that, there are a handful of different gadgets here. There are, what, 5 now? 4? There's the copy-paste gadget. There's the exchanging gadget, which allows you to exchange spaces. There's the destruction gadget, which allows you to just completely void out areas. But I'm just going to go with the plain old building gadget. And you can see that this is going to require a couple of materials that we haven't really seen yet before. And most of them are going to be from Immersive. MB wire coils, we know them, we love them. Just got to get that stripped really quickly using the wire cutters. That shouldn't be any issue at all. But there's also a couple of other components that are in use here. Oh, apparently I left myself a hole there while setting everything up for my refined storage network. Fun. So, let's put those back. What's fun, by the way, is since we have these here, we can work here, we can work there, we can grab... I mentioned that spot in the floor that I was just missing, so I can just, grab that hempcrete and take care of it. Done. Anyways, so for the building gadget, we're going to need these amplifier electron tubes. So we're going to need just a base electron tube, and then it looks like that's going to be, once again, a nickel plate and a copper wire. Let's put these back. I'm sure if you were watching like a hawk during the montage, you may have noticed that I did go through and make a bunch of iron plates again, so to no surprise, we're back in need of changing everything back again. So that's going to get us 3 vacuum tubes. And then with our 3 vacuum tubes here, we just need 2 steel rods, and we should be good. Looks like the last component is 1 copper wire, which conveniently is exactly how many was left behind. And then that's just going to leave us with making a brass hand. So let's grab some brass sheets. It's actually just 4, right? Yeah. We'll do 4 of those. Just put that back real quick. And so now, if you've been paying close attention, you know that we're building up a bunch of flux, but we're not actually able to use any of it at any one point. We're not charging anything with it, right? We're just building it up in our various... There's that chapter done, by the way. Hooray, hooray. Go and claim our XP. But there are various places that we have been running our wiring, right? That's what we did all last episode. But there's no way to actually get this guy charged, or is there? So if you remember... 10, 15 odd episodes ago, I think 15, I set up the aerial interface over here. this guy? Well, if you've ever noticed, there's a little gauge right here. And if you look inside, what's that? Oh, it stores Fe. Huh, how interesting is that? So yeah, as you may suspect, this guy here can store Fe. This means that we're going to have to make this a little bit on the ugly side, I think. Or we could just disconnect one of our charging station chargers. Maybe we do that. So let us quickly do that. There we go. And so now we can plug in flux on the right side. Does it matter? In inventory, I guess, right? And so now what we'll do is we'll hook up an energy pipe right here. And as it so happens, we do have an energy network pipeline running somewhere nearby. I just have to remind myself where, because we have this guy running right here. So let me trace my steps and get this guy hooked up again. Hooked up with a different kind of power source, as you probably already are well aware. But it'll probably just come down here and live in parallel right here. So let me get that arranged, I guess. Yep, here we go, actually. Didn't even need to break the video up at all. So what we'll do is, let's see here. I think if we went over like so, and then in would make the most sense. Actually, why did I do it like that? I should have just done this. The one issue with me being as OCD as I am about having all my little spaces filled, and that's just a remnant of being an old Minecrafter. You know, I'm used to having zombies trying to spawn in every single nook and cranny that you leave behind, so even my mine shafts I would go through and fill in behind myself anytime I found an ore deposit that I would excavate. But yeah, we'll just have this come up and over here, and then I imagine it would just be easier than anything else to go down 2 blocks here, and then over. Did I line this up right? Oh, I did. Look at that. Although it is 1 block too high, so we'll do that 2 blocks over. So we will, I'm actually going to leave that last connection. I want to be sure that we can watch it as it happens, because I think this will work in our favor. I think. I actually have never tested this functionality before. I'm just going based on what the documentation said I could do. Let's go ahead and fill in all of this. And so now, if I hook this up, this guy has no energy. If I do this, you have energy. You are starting to get energy. Look at that. How outstanding is that? So it is slowly but surely filling up. That's very exciting. I like that a lot. Okay, well, that was easy enough to get wireless charging. So once again, just like everything else that we have running, this too will be wireless, so we can access it from anywhere. We can, you know, have our energy with us anywhere we go. There are better options out there. There are better, like, things that we could do here in place of this. And I will probably look into them sooner than later, but we will see about that. But yeah, there you go. It's completely full. So let me explain the building gadget a little bit. If you are someone who wants to do a mega base or wants to do just an overall kind of large size build, which is totally acceptable, just kind of the style I've been trying to avoid this Let's Play, this will be very much in handy for you. So let me quickly clean up the good old inventory, because once again, it became a mess. It's my dimensional storage, and that was what I put away earlier. I put something away earlier on accident, and I couldn't tell what it was. But here we have our building gadget, and if we wanted to start building out in our little basement here, let's say, for example, and this isn't an example that's unreal, because it is, in fact, what I'm trying to do at the moment. Let's say we wanted to go for like a 3 by 3 by 3 column here. And then we started to, you know, pull all this down. Let's go to like what, right here? Sounds good? Yeah, looks good to me. I can start to clear out all the wall here, and I'm still going to have to do this part manually, which is not the worst, but definitely could be made a little bit easier. But now that we have this entire wall cleared out... Uh-oh. There we go. We can now build very easily. So let me grab our laboratory blocks here. Let me shift right click on the block that I want to build with. And then I'm just going to... Oh, you know, I just noticed this. Sorry, my OCD has taken over today. Now, all I have to do is stand. I've got it currently in build to me mode. If I hit the... For me, I bound it to X key, but there is a... if you just go to keybinds, type category, and do build, you'll see the building gadget. You can see the settings menu is what you're looking for. I've got mine set to X. The default is G. If I hit X, you can see there are several modes. So I can do a solid surface, I can do a grid, I can make a staircase that goes up or down. I could do a horizontal wall, which would look something, if I increase the range, you see the range is 1. Horizontal wall would look like this. Vertical wall would look like... That can't be right. Ah, that wasn't right. Vertical wall will look like this. And then you have horizontal and vertical columns. And the mode that I like is called Build to Me, which just builds from where you're looking to where you're standing. Except for inside of your player's feet, because that's like where your location is, and it stops there. But if I just right-click on where I want it to go from, that's it. I've just built that out. And now if I wanted to build this little cross brace that I had built up there, done. Done. Absolutely just that easy to do it this way. And you can see it tried to use up some power. It was so quick to recharge that you really couldn't notice all that well. But yeah, like at this point, that makes it so much easier. And then if I wanted to go through here and clear these out so that I could do the entwine as well. Let me go ahead and just break through here. Ah, thank you. That was appreciated. Then once we get that done, there we go. We can now choose entwine by shift right clicking. You'll see it's red indicating I don't have that block, which I don't. If I get some, now I have that block. And now I can just do the exact same thing. You can see I missed a block up there. That kind of sucks, but whatever. Happens sometimes, you know. And boom, just like that, we've gotten one of the wall surfaces done. So I didn't want to go and make that without showing it off a little bit because it is so very cool. And it will keep the block state as well. So if I decided to do a pillar of end rods, unfortunately, this is where it gets a little limited. I chose end rods that were hanging down from the top. And so now all of these that I place will be the same way. However, you can undo just by hitting the undo button over here. And if I wanted to do, you know, the up case, I could do that instead. You know, not really a lot that you can do about the whole directional thing. That's just kind of the unfortunate means that we've come to nowadays with blocks and stuff. Looks like it'll even try to place these. That's very interesting. Is it... I wonder... Oh, you know, I bet I wasn't looking at a framed cube. That makes sense. So yeah, it looks like the framed cubes will try to place, but I don't believe that in the slightest bit. Let me see. This is the real thing. I want to see what happens, what it's going to try to do. Yeah, it has no idea how to place one of those. That makes sense. Normally it doesn't try to place tile entities, so that's any sort of block that has advanced data built into it or has like machinery function. Yeah, it doesn't tend to try to do those, so I'm not surprised. But yeah, so I'm going to go and finish this up. Honestly, the montage so far has not been very interesting, so I'm probably just going to not do one. But do let me know what you think about this so far. And what you think things, or how you think it might turn out, especially once we start to occupy this space a little more. I will go ahead and give a bit of a spoiler alert as well. These drawers, they're not going to stay looking like that. We're going to reskin them as well. So I do look forward to that. Anyways, let me get back to building. All right, so the basement, I should say, is just about ready, just about done, but I need a way to get up and down still. So I was thinking about using the pneumatic craft pressurized elevator base. We're going to grab, I think I'm going to need 3 of them to cover the distance. Basically, the way they work is the elevator bases will cover a certain number of blocks. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but you can stack them up on top of each other, and then you can cover multiple blocks higher than you could before. So let's see, this guy, strength of 15. I'm not seeing any info on the extensions. Current extension 0. Okay, so yeah, we have to set up the actual braces for our elevator. So let's use the elevator frames to do that. Ooh, that's small amounts of compressed iron. And then we're going to need an elevator collar. In fact, we're going to need 2 of these. And I was thinking, oh man, I really hate that this isn't going to blend in, but I forgot all about the Camouflage Applicator, and I believe, if I was reading it correctly, yep, you can just completely camo this. However, it doesn't show me anything, so I'm a little concerned. We'll see. Anyways, this is where we're going to access it from, is just this little doorway here, because it's nicely centered with the rest of our base. No, it's not perfect, but we're not going to go down there all that often, so I'm not all that bothered by it. We'll hop down here. I'm not going to worry about pressure right now. Just going to set this up and go ahead and get our base down. In fact, I think this is going to need to go 1 block higher, but we will see. And we're just going to set up our frames and go all the way to the top here. Whoops, or not. And then right here, put down our elevator collar, which does actually match pretty well in this area, but I'll go ahead and camo you as well. And now we should see a configuration for floor names. No elevator collars found. Let's see. Oh, does it have to be directly next to it? That would be a little... No, you're not. You're just not finding them. Okay. Huh. Follow-up question to that. Are you just... You're just expecting it to be directly right there. Then what's going on there? I don't know. You can place these down like scaffolds, though, which is very nice. And now we should have 2 floors. Yay, there we go. So we will have basement, and then floor 2 is going to be upstairs, or main. Main is fine. So now you can see that there are 2 buttons here that we can press, and I'm curious to see what happens when we do camo this. I don't like that. I don't like how that looks. I wish that I could put this here as well. That is a little bit frustrating. Just, you know, base design wise, I clearly wanted this to kind of look a certain way, but that's all right. I'm not too terribly frustrated. It's better than the elevator that or the ladder that I'm currently using as an elevator. And so up here, we're not going to need this second set of these elevator frames. The model and the texture don't line up, or the model and the bounding box don't line up anymore, which is a little concerning. And so you can see how that looks here too. Up here, I don't mind that because I just want this to be really as discreet as possible. And let's grab some deep slate to fix up those little blocks there that are missing on the sides from where we first built this house, and it was like we were super tight on all the resources and almost out of everything. Those were not the times. This is a much better time to be. So I wanted to look at how to create pressure, and there are a few ways. Of course, we could just do a compressed creativity rotational compressor and some water wheels. I think that would just be the easiest way. So maybe we do that. I wasn't sure if we wanted to look into the flux compressor, but I just remembered how expensive those are. And I think that would be a bigger pain than it would be worth by any stretch of the imagination. So let's go ahead and set one of those up, and we'll get that moving. You've seen me do this dozens of times at this point, so I'm just going to skip to the more interesting part, I guess, and move from there. Oh, right, we're also going to need tubes, so I'll do that as well. But yeah, almost done here. You can see that there are a couple of things that are not quite done yet, but for the most part, this is the look I'm going to go for. I'm really happy with it, too. The elevator, I think, will be a pretty cool touch as well, but if I do like glass around it, that could maybe make it feel a little more integrated. I'm not sure yet. I haven't really fully decided. Okay, so it seems as though the elevator shaft is installed and should have enough pressure to send us up, so let's give it a try. This is with 2 speed upgrades in it. Probably want a few more. But there you go. That's the entire process behind that. Not too bad. I did have a couple of ideas. First of all, I do want to get more framed blocks to finish decorating up a couple of things. Really thought that I had more of these, but I actually used them all. So let's see. We're looking for the cube. Good. That'll work. And one thing that I'm doing to get away with basically free lighting in the base here, in the basement especially, is using a cool little secret that I don't really think is all that much of a secret per se. Let's grab some more entwine. We're going to need, I think, 8 of it to finish up this build using the chiseled entwine. But if we wanted to go through and light up this area for free, basically, what you can do is you can just put down any framed cube or any of the framed blocks. In fact, one of the fun ones, these here are iron doors with buttons on them. I'm probably going to change this setup eventually, but this is a door, and you can put it on a door to apply even more light to the area. But what I was thinking we could do is continue on with this trend over here and put these down, put this texture inside of them that I really like, and then light them up. And this just offers free lighting that is completely hidden, completely obscured from normal eyesight. And I think we can probably get rid of those glowstone lamps as well once we do that. Let me grab another piece of glowstone. What we'll probably do as well is get a grid down there, because as you can see, I'm having to go up and down quite a bit, and that's already not particularly constructive. You can tell you can just kind of come off of these if you want to at any point. There's no, like, you know, stopping you from just running off the end of it if you really wanted to. There's nothing wrong with that. And then what you can do, what I wanted to do, is take you and texture you like so. And then we've got these deep slate tiles, so I can take you and texture you like so. So now our elevator is going to look like deep slate tiles, and this is kind of a lame excuse of a texture to me. What I feel like this really needs, especially down here, is some sort of a like caution stripe setup, so we'll probably grab those real quick. And yeah, you can see I need to change out those blocks up there as well. Let's see. At Builder's Delight. What are these called? Industrial blocks. Close enough. Close-ish. And so if we did something like this, I think that looks fine. And the reason I chose that texture is not only does it match the floor, but it also matches the floor up there. So when you're walking right by it, you probably wouldn't even notice. And then let's grab the chisel and see what chiseled variants of the industrial blocks we have available to us here. I'd be tempted to say maybe like these industrial air ducts could be cool, but I don't know if they will be too shiny. We'll see. They're okay. I think they're fine. Makes the text really difficult to read though, so I don't know. I think I may pass on those. But as you can see, it's kind of a bit of an annoying, troublesome issue here because I don't know. I would love, actually, you know what we could do? If you just break this, it'll take the texture off. We could just make a plastic block. Seems the color has broken a little bit on there. I think you can recolor these, though. Place next to an elevator frame. Yeah, I have to wonder if making something like this might not work better. By the way, these are plastic blocks. They're just fun little Lego-looking blocks. But they can be, what is it, smelted? No, just crafted into a smoother variant, and those look pretty dang good. So I'll try that out and see if that works any better. Let me grab some dye. See if I can get that to work as well. We'll do like yellow. Definitely doesn't seem to do anything. Yeah, it does not seem to be doing anything. That's okay, though. May just need to break and replace this guy. And since the elevator floors, yeah, there we go. Since the elevator floors are being stored within this guy here, you can break and replace that a couple of times and you won't run into any issues. Yep, those are definitely the same texture, and I actually really like that, because at least it's consistent, which bothers me way, way, way less. What I'll probably do as a result, though, is move these up here. These buttons can go anywhere. These are just called big buttons, and I've got them currently covering up a glass pane. You come back here, and this is the access to the controller, to the disks, to the dimensional chest for sorting, all that stuff. It's all there. So yeah, like I said, we'll have our mega crafting here. We'll have like room for little things here and there. I really love how this build turned out. It's one of those, like, I can't believe it came out so tall builds, but now that I see it, I'm pretty happy with it. Let's just get that one last touch on that I had mentioned, which was to do the tiles up here. Whoops, that's not helpful. I've been taking advantage of the not silk touching, the vein mining feature of the jackhammer a lot lately, though, so I'm not going to be too upset about having to basically just vein mine those back down. Not a big deal to me. We'll do these 4 textures here, and you can see I already did the exact same thing over there, so that's why I am basically mirroring it. Really? Come on. Like so. Like I said, I'll just vein mine that. Yep, that lighting looks right. I forgot to put these tiles back, because derp. We'll do that, that, and that. And there we go. That is a basement complete. And this is a huge one, too. I really like the occasional use of the end rods. I think the server room, server area down here kind of turned out okay, too. Used a couple more of those hidden lights with framed cubes just to keep this area as bright as possible, because I don't want it to look dark. Like, my goal is to keep things looking pretty bright all throughout, pretty evenly lit. I was thinking about using some ventilation, like little vent lines every now and then, but I ran into some, like, I don't know, the space just isn't huge enough for a Dave's Building Blocks vent to look right. I can't really explain it. It just doesn't really work out for my tastes. So, yeah, I definitely think for now I'm going to pass on those, but we will definitely come back to the idea of, like, you know, little bits of micromanagey, decoraty style, like just going through and getting every little last nook and cranny until everything is decorated. I think that would be more than likely our next step. Our ladder here, by the way, no longer necessary, because that back door that I showed you also gives us access to that very same pipeline. So now we actually have an official route to get over there. So yeah, I honestly cannot think of too much else that I have left, both time and also just content for this episode. So I think we're just going to wrap it up there. You can see I clearly, once again, forgot about resources that I just left behind, but I'm going to smelt those construction bricks up so that I can turn them back into the plastic sheets they were made from, because I'm cheap and I don't have an endless supply of plastic yet. Soon, though, maybe even next episode. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you soon. Take care.